Welcome back to my Halloween month reviews. We've covered a lot of great horror movies so far, and some great movies as well for this series, and it was a lot of fun. But for this video, we are going to be getting to the opposite of that. We are going to be covering a film that is not only bad, but it is considered to be one of the best bad horror movies of all time. And that film is Birdemic, Shock and Terror, directed by James Nguyen, and it is a horror movie that's considered to be a very bad horror movie, but hilarious at the same time. It is about a software salesman named Rod, played by Bagh, or Bagh, I'm sorry if I got that name wrong, who later meets a model named Natalie, played by Whitney Moore. They start to get to know each other and fall in love, and all of a sudden, everyone in San Jose is getting attacked by a bunch of eagles. They're flying around, killing everyone, falling down, and exploding. And both Rod and Natalie have to work together and stay together to survive the Birdemic. For a lot of people, they love to trash on Birdemic a lot because of all the stupid things that would happen in the film and with some of the cinematography as well. And I didn't look into a whole lot, but when I first found out about Birdemic, I got a little curious because sometimes I am in the mood to watch a laughably bad horror movie that's hilarious, like The Room or Troll 2. This is also an independent film where the director of the film did not have Hollywood involved, and he wanted to make the film himself, and he had a budget of $10,000 for this film. And you can really tell, because from the start of the film, you get a shot of someone driving, and the camera is in the car, and the camera is just tilted to the left side, and it doesn't look right. And the cinematography in this film is horrible. There are a lot of weird tilted shots and Dutch angles for some of the characters talking throughout the film. There would be a few scenes where they would shoot some scenes that are shot like this, or like this, or like this. And there is a lot of that. It's like the movie Battlefield Earth, where they, for whatever reason, use a lot of Dutch angles in that film. What also makes the cinematography really bad is the exposure. This movie is absurdly bright. For whatever reason, whenever the characters are outside, you see that every scene in daylight is like super bright, making it look like the sun is like super close to the earth. I mean, every shot in this film looks terrible and overexposed to the point where you can barely see what's going on in the background. The story isn't interesting. Not only does it come off as a ripoff of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, which the director himself said that it's an inspiration. It's a ripoff, man. But the first half of the film is really about Rod and Natalie getting to know each other, becoming a couple, and talking about how great their careers are. And really nothing comes to that for their careers. Nothing changes, nothing happens that relates to the main story, and it never gets brought up again in the second half of the film, making all the stuff that they've been talking about feel pointless and feel a lot more like filler, making the first half of the film feel really boring. I get that you want to get to know the characters before the bad stuff happens, but at least do something to make it more interesting. Don't just have a couple getting to know each other. Add in some things that are supposed to be like little hints of the birds trying to kill people. Just have little hints of that, but there is none of that in the first half of the film. By the way, yeah, the first half of the film doesn't leave any hints or clues that are supposed to set up the birds killing people in the second half, making the bird stuff in the second half feel out of nowhere. Like, if you're gonna have birds killing people, at least have some setup or hints in the first half of the film that are supposed to give us the idea that something bad is happening. Don't like do nothing with that in the beginning and then just have it happen halfway in. I mean, when you look at Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, for instance, yes, the first half in that film didn't have a lot of birds attacking either. It just got us to know the characters, but it still left little hints and clues about birds attacking. And when the birds start attacking later on, all that setup and the hints felt like they paid off. They felt like they worked for the story. At least have stuff like that in this film. Now we're going to talk about the two main leads in the film, Rod and Natalie, which unfortunately the actors didn't have a lot of experience acting. This was their first film together, and you can really tell. You can tell that these two actors haven't had a lot of acting experience, and unfortunately with what they had to work with for this film did not pay off. Now I'm not going to talk about these people playing these characters because I know they are nice people in real life. I'm not going to talk about Bagh and Whitney Moore as people. I'm going to talk about them as actors for this video, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to talk about them as people, only actors. There is a difference. With Whitney Moore, you can tell that she was trying in some scenes, but with what she had to work with for this film and for the script did not pay off. And with her in this film, she did at least try. It's not enough to save this movie, but she did at least do her best. But honestly, the worst one for me is Bagh as Rod. His performance is so emotionless and dull, and he brings no charisma to his character. He has no energy in him, and he's not showing a lot of emotion throughout the entire film. Like, the only time that he would show any energy and charisma is in one scene when he's talking to someone on the phone and it's succeeding for him and he goes, "Woo!" Like, that's it. That's the best he got for his energy. And the character of Rod is so boring, dull, and lifeless, and he is a complete idiot. Like, there's this one scene where they're in a van and it's low on gas while they're trying to get away from the eagles, and then one person points a gun at Rod and threatens him to give him his gas to this guy. But when the guy gets killed by an eagle with the eagle slicing his throat, and then for whatever reason, Rod decides to leave the tank of gas and gun on the ground, drives off until the van is out of gas. This is our main character. Yippee. So now that I already covered the cinematography and the acting, let's also talk about this one editing issue that this film has. For some reason, every scene in this film ends with a cross dissolve. Every scene, for some reason, has to end with a cross dissolve. Like, you have one scene going on and then it just fades to another scene, and then you have another scene going on and then it fades to something else. Like, they do that for every scene in the film. Why did they use a lot of cross dissolves? I don't know. They just do. And that's one of the problems that this film has with the editing. And now that I covered the editing, might as well talk about the visual effects, which... oh god, the visual effects. These are some of the worst visual effects I have ever seen in a movie in my life. All the birds look cheap, and they look like they're hovering more than flying. Like, when you see them in the air and you only lightly see them move their wings, and it just looks like they're hovering. They didn't even use any puppets for the birds, making it look like the actors are being attacked by the birds, which has some moments that are so bad and having some of the worst movie moments I have ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating. It's that bad and it's that laughable. So there's a scene where the characters are trying to hit the birds with coat hangers, and you would get scenes like this, which, oh my god, that looks terrible. Jeez, man, that should show you that they didn't even try. Another scene that makes this film unintentionally funny is that there's this one scene where the characters are next to a street and they see these kids that are trying to save from these birds. And you literally see traffic on the left side of the screen. Oh my god, like, did they even have permission to film in San Jose? Because that shot tells me otherwise. There's also some random product placement that that for some reason is shown in this film, like Chevron, the gas station, and they would just blur out other product placement like Reese's. Like, if you don't want any product placement in your film, then don't have them in the film. Don't blur them out like you decide to censor them for television. Birdemic Shock and Terror is incredibly bad in every way. There is not one good thing about this film. Not one. You can argue that they have some nice shots of San Jose, they got some nice landscapes, but it's not enough to save this movie. The only thing that makes this film worth watching is that you have a group of friends and you have the movie, you put it on, you all sit on a couch together and you just tear the movie to pieces, Mystery Science Theater style. That's the best way to watch Birdemic. However, if you're looking for quality, no, just watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds instead. Birdemic Shock and Terror for sure gets an F. It's that bad. However, it's one of those movies that's so bad, it's hilarious. It definitely fits into that category with movies like The Room, Troll 2, and Samurai Cop. So guys, if you have seen Birdemic, what did you think about it? Do you think it's like a legitimately good movie? Or do you think this movie is also one of the best bad movies of all time? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video and my Halloween month review so far, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.